You know that buzzing sound, right? It's probably one of the most familiar and definitely most annoying sounds on the entire planet. But what if I told you that the tiny insect making it has a life full of really weird choices and secret behaviors that just defy everything we think we know? It turns out its favorite meal isn't actually what's best for it, and it's outsmarting our best defenses by hiding where we literally never think to look. So let's uncover the surprising truths that are hiding in plain sight.
To really get what makes this little creature tick, we've got to ask a pretty simple question. What is actually driving it? You might think the answer is just, blood. But biology is almost never that simple. The real answer is way more fascinating.
All right, first things first. Before a mosquito ever takes to the air to bother you, its life starts somewhere completely different. Yep, in the water. This little aquatic world is where its incredible journey really begins.
So a mosquito's life basically plays out in 4 acts. According to the EPA, it all starts with an egg, which gets laid on or near water. Then it hatches into a larva. You know, those little wrigglers you sometimes see in standing water? That's them. They actually breathe through a tiny snorkel-like tube right at the surface. From there, it transforms into a pupa, or a tumbler, which is a really weird stage because it doesn't even feed, it's just transforming. It's a whole metamorphosis happening underwater, before it finally breaks through the surface as the flying adult we all know and love.
And get this. This whole process can be unbelievably fast. If the conditions are right, a mosquito can go from a tiny egg to a flying adult in as little as 4 days. That's why, after a good rain, it can feel like a massive mosquito army just appeared out of thin air.
So our mosquito is an adult now, it's flying free. And this brings us to the part everyone knows, or thinks they know, the quest for blood. But this hunt isn't really about hunger, not in the way we think about it. It's all about making sure the next generation survives.
And this is absolutely key. Only the female mosquito bites. The guys, they're perfectly happy sipping on plant nectar. The female, though, she needs the protein and all the nutrients she can get from blood to produce her eggs. Without that blood meal, she just can't reproduce. So really, that annoying bite, it's all about motherhood.
Okay, so she's found a host, she's ready to bite, but what she's looking for in that meal and what she actually prefers, well, those are 2 surprisingly different things. The quality of a meal is way more complicated than just finding any source of blood.
And this is where the research gets kind of weird. I mean, logically, you would think a mosquito would prefer the type of blood that's going to be best for her offspring, right? Well, it turns out biology has a few curveballs for us.
A 2023 study from Wageningen University put it just like this. The reproductive output of mosquitoes is affected by the host, and the preferred host is not necessarily the best host for reproduction. Okay, let's unpack what that really means.
So let's take the 80s Egypti mosquito, for example. Its preferred meal is usually us. It's just most attracted to human blood. But, and this is the wild part, researchers found that when this exact same mosquito feeds on other animals like turtles or canaries, it actually lays more eggs. So its favorite food isn't the most productive one for its family. It's a strange biological puzzle that scientists are still trying to figure out.
All right, so after she's had this crucial, if a little puzzling meal, her mission is not over, not by a long shot. In fact, this next step is just as critical. She needs to find a safe, quiet place to hide out, digest and let her eggs develop. And where she picks to rest is incredibly important, not just for her, but for us.
You see, one of our biggest strategies for fighting malaria is something called indoor residual spraying, or IRS. The logic is really simple. A malaria-carrying mosquito flies into a house to rest after feeding. It lands on a wall that's been coated with insecticide, and bam, it dies. This has been a cornerstone of public health for decades.
The entire strategy hinges on that one assumption, that mosquitoes rest on walls. But a major field study in Tanzania decided to actually put that idea to the test. I mean, if the whole goal is to kill mosquitoes where they rest, you'd better be sure you're looking in the right place. So, are we?
The results were stunning. This chart shows where researchers actually found these mosquitoes resting inside houses. Only about a quarter of them, just 25%, were on the walls, the main target of all that spraying. The vast majority, 3/4 of them, were somewhere else entirely.
Let me put that another way. The study found that when it comes to the main malaria-carrying mosquitoes in the area, fewer than 1 in 3 of them actually rest on the walls that get sprayed. Most of them are being completely missed.
So where in the world are they hiding? Well, that big 41% slice on the chart, other surfaces, breaks down like this. They're resting on furniture, like beds and tables. They're on hanging clothes and curtains. They're on bed nets, the floor, even on cooking utensils and water containers. Basically, they're on all the stuff that never, ever gets sprayed. This discovery reveals a huge and mostly unseen challenge. It shows that mosquito behavior isn't some fixed thing. As our world changes, from the stuff we own to the houses we build, these mosquitoes are adapting right along with us. And the researchers found another critical layer to this whole thing. Where the mosquitoes choose to rest depends heavily on the type of house they're in.
Look at this comparison right here. In more traditional homes, the kind with thatched roofs, about 27% of mosquitoes were found on those other, unsprayed surfaces. But in more modern homes with metal roofs, that number jumps to over half, 53%. As our housing gets more modern, the mosquitoes are increasingly avoiding the sprayed walls and just hiding out on all our stuff instead.
So the takeaway from all this field research is pretty inescapable. A control strategy that focuses almost entirely on walls, which has been the standard for years, is simply missing a huge and growing part of the problem.
From its wild beginning in the water, to its puzzling choice of meals, to its really clever hiding spots, the mosquito is a far more complex and adaptable creature than we ever give it credit for. And that leaves us with one final and really crucial question to think about. Mosquitoes are constantly adapting to the world we build. The real challenge is, how will we adapt in return?